We welcome you here to a quickly live special presentation, words are hard, of the Coast to Coast Racing Series. Tonight we race at Homestead, Miami Speedway for the Fast Cash Racing Products 175. We're here late. The race has begun. We are under caution already on just lap number 2 in this race. Sorry we were not able to address everything that was happening in this race. Things kind of happened. It was very last minute here to get live and get going, but we are here. We are live. That is all that matters. We have a broadcast for you here tonight. 117 laps of racing here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Dawson Allen in the booth. Brett Bennett joining me tonight. Brett, we're already under caution for the first time tonight, just as they went green. What happened out there?
It appears that Amir Bascom lost it off of the corner, got loose off the corner, corrected up, and hit the fence, bounced off the wall, and basically knocked the right front out of the car. He'll probably lose some laps here, getting repairs. Hit one or two other cars they also spun, but not a major incident here. And as we get going with another large field here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series.
Well, we'll take a look at your JCTV replay here to see what happened. This was the green flag. This was the drop of the green flag. We missed it just barely as this race went live. So you got to see the back half of this first lap. It was the 36, Cody Rivers, and I believe the 03 of Samuel Huff there on that front row. Samuel Huff was the pole winner, and Cody Rivers started on the outside lane. And you'll see back in the background here, as you were talking about, just into the outside wall spinning. It looks like some contact made with another car. The 22 went sideways backwards, and that brings out our first caution of tonight's race. Going to take another look from another angle here, see what might have happened here. It looks like maybe just a loose and then overcorrect into the outside wall, and there was a car there that got slammed. The car sideways. A couple cars involved in that one there, but the caution out early on here. Just on lap number 1. We'll take a look from the back straightaway cam. You'll see right there yet again, just slam outside wall and bar on the inside. So you mentioned he'll have some lengthy repairs. He's on pit road, 38th place of 38 drivers that are on track tonight. I believe Michael Walls might have even been one of the cars that got some contact there. Indeed, he was. That number 17 Castrol Edge scheme that we usually see in the NASCAR Cup Series with Chris Buescher behind the wheel for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. You see Michael Walls adorning that number and those colors here tonight. So, very, 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 very hectic start to this broadcast tonight, but that's the fun in it, is that it's not that easy to really get things set in stone and ready to go. So we're going to see if I can pull some stats up for this league from this race, just to see maybe if there's anything I could try to figure out.
I will give you my favorite stat of last year's race, which is last year had the greatest flip in iRacing history in this race.
Yes, I do remember that actually. It was I
believe
tell you
Christopher. I'm blanking on the last name because I'm bad at names, but it was a Chris, I think.
I do know what you're talking about.
It was the double zero car, I believe.
Double zero, yes.
Got upside down on the front stretch. Somehow flipped. Hit a bump on the front stretch. Flipped over. Did a complete barrel roll and just kept going like nothing had happened. So, always possibility of that here tonight. And then you mentioned Michael Walls getting caught up in that first wreck. He's looking for redemption here tonight after being the first to cross the line in the All-Star race in the Slide Jawb Racing League on Tuesday night, only to have the win taken away after it was learned that he did not follow the race rules in terms of when he pitted for tires.
Yeah, Michael Walls also looking for a bit of return to glory after last week's race at Daytona. Of course, that broadcast we were unable to present to you. Eventually, we'll try to get that race produced and get a race upload of what happened. But on the last lap, Michael Walls caused a massive accident, taking out drivers, including myself, that wound up ending the race for a lot of us. At the end of that race, your winner last week, unfortunately, didn't get to get an interview with him, Zachary Thornton in the 35. That is last week's winner right there, the number 35 machine. 2 laps down, though, right now. He's got some repairs he's been making, so not the way he wanted to come out and try to defend that race win, but so to choose that last time by. We're getting ready to go back green. Just really quickly before we do, we'll give you a quick race analysis. It is 117 laps for 173 miles. The stage is at lap 40. They have 4 sets of tires in the 3 in the pits, 1 on the car. Partly cloudy, 76-degree track temperature. It's Cody Rivera's Samuel Huff on the front row. The green flag is back out, back racing at Homestead.
Yeah, good launch there for the 36 of Rivera's. He's going to clear easily. Reminder there, we maybe didn't see all of it, but we have the choose code in this league, so drivers have gotten to choose what lane they're going to start in. As you see the 50 getting a good launch on the inside, he's also going to clear Samuel Huff up to the second position.
Luke Peters now to second, past Samuel Huff. Battle in the background for fourth between Ethan Fonseca Moreno and Ellis Wells in the 57 machine. As they go side by side, you see Moreno going all the way up to that top lane, going to try to run the top, rip the lip, like we see drivers like Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson do in the Cup Series. See if he can replicate that. Unable to do so. Yeah, no, wrecking in the back. Spinning around. Big one here on the front straightaway. It looks like it's the 18 or the 37, that is Declan Durba. Brian Lucan looked to be involved as well. I believe that was the 18 of Patrick Coluccio, and the caution will fly. Peter Schumacher got some damage. Connor Zola did. Another big accident here in the early stages of this race. Let's take a look and see how that started.
Yeah, it appears some drivers been.
The cause of this accident? It's Michael Walls, 17, drifting up off that bottom lane. A little bit of netcode maybe with a 37, and around they go. Somehow only a 3-car accident. You'll see it right here, 3 wide in the corner. Micah kind of chasing it up there. Side by side, has to keep it off, gets a little sideways, then some net code into that 37 of Declan Durba. Takes out Micah, Durba, and Brian Lucan. Michael Walls has already left the session. For racing with us here tonight.
I mean, as you know, I am not the biggest Michael Walls fan. Had a run with him last Saturday night, but there I can't blame that completely on him. I think he had it saved, and then net code, pretty bad net code there between him and the 37. Of Declan Durba ended up ending his night. I was going to say about Homestead, you're seeing already cars running every lane of this track, and that's one of the really fun things about this track is every lane is viable. You can run the Harvick line, trying to tap that put that car right on that white line at the bottom of the track. You could also run the Kyle Larson line up against the fence right in the boards, and really, a lot of it comes down to managing your tires. Running up top and running the bottom are going to wear them differently. A lot of times the bottom will put a little bit less wear on the right, will wear the right front a little more. The top will wear the right rear a little more, but it also puts some more on the right front because you're carrying more speed on corner entry usually. So that's really where you got to look for is managing those tires. See here, I believe.
Not going to choose this time.
I don't believe they are choosing yet, and just so our viewers are aware, the choose rules here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series a little different than what we see in our other leagues here on JCTV, primarily the ITPN Truck Series. Their choose does start at the start-finish line, but it is defined all the way. I believe their exact choose location is actually the entry of turn 1. Although they expect drivers to try to maintain a lane between the start, finish, and turn 1. Which might look a little bit different, but should look pretty similar to what we're used to seeing in the Pits News Truck Series and what we saw on Tuesday night in the All-Star race in the Slide Job Racing League. And so far, one driver I just wanted to shout out is up to second place. We got Luke Peters. So far this season, showed up in the Clash and looked like the car to beat all night in the Clash before fading late and getting passed by Ellis Wells, coming home second. He, I think, is going to be one of those favorites in this league all season long, going for a championship. And I'm really interested to see what he can do here tonight at a track like Homestead, where long run pace. I know early we've seen 2 quick cautions, but I think end of the day, long run pace is going to be what determines this race. And that was really his only weakness at South Boston in the Clash, was that he was great on the short run, but just didn't quite save the tires as much as other people. Really should see how he does tonight, dealing with it as he tries to go for the win tonight, as he's chosen the bottom, and Samuel Huff will slide up to the front row here on the outside.
First to the front row from the start of this race and that prior restart as well. Rivera's to the bottom, Huff to the top side here.
Yeah, and I think on the long run, at least in my experience running this track, I have not raced this track in the next gen car, so it could be different. Is usually the bottom lane is better on the corners 1 and 2 on a restart, but really the top is where I think is the faster lane on a short run around the whole track once you're up to speed. So it's kind of, if you're able to get clear up to the top though in 1 and 2, then that's ideal if you can run the bottom and then slide up to the wall on exit.
See who's able to try to pull it off and who can make it work. Going to the restart here on lap number 12. Rivera's and Huff the front row as they head to the front straightaway to the Geico restart zone. The green flag is out, back racing here in the Fast Cash Racing Products 175.
The 0-3 of Samuel Huff just did not get a good launch. That's going to allow Luke Peters to look to his inside and clear him. Meanwhile, we see Ethan Fonseca Moreno once again up to the fence. He likes that high line, trying to make it work. In the 4th position is Ellis Wells going to look there, try to take 4th away. Cody Rivera's, though, looking strong here in the early going.
Definitely looking like the car to beat early on here in this race, out front leading as they cross the stripe this next time. You see Ellis Wells going to slide in front of Moreno there for the 4th position. Wells continuing to try to make some moves forward. Looking back through the field, some drivers that are gaining some ground. Currently the biggest gainer back in the 21st place is this number 12 of Ethan Eckert. Up 11 spots from the drop of the green flag. He is on the move to the front.
Yeah, and we're seeing already that top lane's starting to come in. Ethan Fonseca Moreno is looking back at Ellis Wells, but now Ellis Wells has gone to the top of the track. Ethan Moreno to the bottom as he's trying to get back to that 4th position.
Oh, wrecking again in the back. Brian Lucan again, he's sideways in the inside wall, no caution yet. We might just stay green. We'll take a look back really quick with JCTV replay. Just quick in the action here. Well, the 71 gets hit. See, they make contact and he spins the inside wall. Looks like there's going to be no harm to anybody else, and there will be no caution flag, but a lot of battling, a lot of positions, and somebody dropping back big time. Brian Lorenzo in the 1 machine dropping back heavily. Might have had some contact with that outside wall.
And Brian Lorenzo, a driver, I would say one of our championship favorites entering this season. Last year's runner-up in the Coast to Coast Cup Series in Season 0. Usually a driver very consistent. Only thing that really hurt him last season was connection issues, but yeah, it did appear that he may have gotten the fence a little bit in that Rowdy Energy #1 car.
There's all kinds of action here throughout the field. There's Cash Coleman, Devin Frank there, side by side as they exit turn 4, heading to the front straightaway.
Yeah, Alexander Schumacher right there. He thought about trying to make it 3 wide. Thought better of it. Probably the right decision this early in the race. Oh, contact around goes Schumacher.
And he'll loop it back around off the inside wall. And now he's just trying to drag a caution out. He is slowing on the racing surface.
He appears to have gotten back going, but that's a tough break there for that 68 Michelob Ultra machine. Looked like Cash Colt to his outside got loose off the corner and clipped him, sending him around, and not really anything he could have done there to prevent it. As you see, oh, we got a big wreck at the front of the field.
Oh, it's Shockey Tarpley. Looks like Brandon Fielder's involved, trying to get their Cash Colt piling in there. Oh, more piling in. The 18 of Patrick Coluccio. Now the caution will fly finally. Massive accident there on the back straightaway.
Yeah, that all started. Shockey Tarpley just got loose off the corner, started to come down the track and then corrected back up the track into the number 39 of Brandon Fiedler, kicking that whole wreck off. And that happened at the front of the pack. Shockey Tarpley was in P8 when this happened. And a lot of cars started the inside and missed it, but some drivers not as lucky, unable to avoid the stopped cars. Cash Culp among those piling in. Patrick Coluccio, who seems to have been involved in every wreck so far in this race through no fault of his own. Devin Frank.
Cash Culp here coming on the back straightaway.
A really close call for Tristan Troll there. I don't know how he managed to avoid the 25 of Shockey Tarpley.
Constant hits there on that 39.
Yeah, Brady Floyd definitely got involved. We saw the 12, the Advanced Auto Parts scheme, Ethan Eckert. He got loose, managed to save it. Good save by him. One of those things where, especially if those drivers further back, it's really hard to avoid those accidents when you got so many cars. I mean, you're in the brakes trying to slow down. Well, you should be. Not always everybody is. I know me and you have both been excuse me, ARCA brake multiple times in this, but usually most people are slowing down, but you can't really see the cars actually wrecking until you get right up on it, especially when that car in front of you darts out of the way, avoids the accident at the last second. You have even less time to react. So unfortunate for a lot of the drivers there at the back of the field, just not a lot of options for them.
Again, looking to see the chaos unfolding here on the backstretch.
And as you mentioned earlier, we have 4 sets of tires in this race. I don't know what the fuel window is here. I know we run a limited fuel in this car, so I can't give you a number on it. But I believe last season drivers were having to pit in the first stage. I don't know if that's the case here today. Based on the fact that no one's pitting right now, I'm thinking that the caution lap was run. Probably everybody is good to the stage finish. That said, I think it's going to be interesting to see when you start seeing people come down pit road and put on tires in this race. Tire wear will be a big determining factor. It always is at Homestead Miami Speedway, and I think you want to try to save sets, but at the same time, you can gain a lot of track position by coming down early and putting on tires. So I think that's going to be a big key here tonight, is how people manage those tires and how many and when do you put on those fresh sets.
Choosing this time here. Again, the 36. Cody Rivera's going to that inside lane. And you'll see the 03. Samuel Huff pulled the outside.
Yeah, Samuel Huff keeps choosing that outside, but I feel like he has really been struggling on these restarts, just not getting going. I don't know if he's spinning the tires or if he's just not able to time the restart. I know starting on that, I hate starting on the outside, second on the front row, being that the non-control car on the front row. It's something I know I really need to get better at iRacing, because it's just hard to time when you launch, trying to see that exactly when that leader launches. You can get a much better run starting P3 or P4 usually. So it's cold, but I think he's going to try to get a better launch here, hopefully get up there. Meanwhile, we got Aaron Brown started making his way a little bit more towards the front. Also, we got Dane Cruz up in the top 5 from one of our series regulars in the Slide Job Racing League.
Yeah, we see him a lot here on JCTV, the number 11 JCTV Toyota Camry back there in the outside of row 3, and see if he can get up there and try to mix it up here with these guys here tonight. Pace car, though, is going to pull off. We're going to get a restart on lap number 22. Cody Rivera, Samuel Huff lead the field back to green. Just a reminder, we are just now crossing the halfway point here in this first stage.
And we will throw a caution on lap 40 at the stage. We do throw a caution in this league. I know some leagues don't always throw a caution, so it can vary, but...
Somebody bobbling in the back in the middle of the pack. I think that was Andretti Robinson in the 45. Indeed it was. Slow. Oh, the 20 gets turned around, sliding. Oh, what a save! Brady Floyd still fighting it. Eckert still fighting it. Floyd still sideways. Somehow he hasn't wrecked. Now he's going to slide.
He still hasn't wrecked.
And Catch Clip is going to hit him. He'll nose the outside wall. Oh my God! Talk about
but he's
keeping
still
that
going,
car.
and he is not dead.
Oh my goodness! That should have been a wreck. He should have gone sideways here. He gets it straight. He should have gone sideways there. Gets it back straight. He should have spun it around right here. He gets it back straight. Some contact with the one. He slides. He should have been in the wall. He keeps it straight. Right here should have gone to the outside wall straight. Hit by Cody Cash Culp, excuse me. Unreal. Unreal save by this 20. That was a heck of a handful of driving. He's going to have a long road ahead of him. But
I'm sure he was not enjoying driving that car that lap, but he did a hell of a job not keeping that car in one piece. This car, we're seeing it so far. This car appears to be a handful here tonight. Everybody seems to be really sliding off the corners. We're seeing multiple people get loose. Meanwhile, we got Samuel Huff has actually managed to retain that second position, followed by Luke Peters and Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Ellis Wells has dropped all the way back to the 7th position now. Just didn't seem like he got a good start here. And once again, we see Ethan. Once again, we got Ethan Fonseca Moreno running the fence right now, trying to reel them in, running higher than anybody else at the front of the field. Luke Peters now looking at the inside of Samuel Huff for that second position.
He's trying to look and see back in the background the 23 car. Now up to the 13th position. Nicholas Borowski, he's up 9 spots from his starting position. Currently the biggest mover, battling with Tristan Troll for that 12th spot. Looking to make some moves through the field here now. Zachary Thornton's also made some moves, as has Jason Ratchcock. The 71, he's up 12 spots from the grid. Battles all over the place. You see Ellis Wells trying to cling on to 6th place from Aaron Brown, trying to challenge him here in that number 7 machine.
Yeah, Cody Rivera's, I still got Cody Rivera's out front. That Aero Pro machine, that McLaren themed paint scheme out front, and really hasn't been challenged for the lead since he got it on the initial start of this race. I know he was talking to before this race when we were trying to sort through our broadcast issues. He was mentioning he was actually having some technical issues of his own, dealing with his VR headset. Apparently has been, ever since the most recent iRacing update, has been struggling. He had the race both last week and this week on a computer screen, which if you're used to running in VR, usually that's not what you want to be doing. It's usually not, it's A, not what you're used to, and B, usually a lot smaller field of view and a lot more difficult, but doesn't seem to be hurting him here tonight as he is continuing to lead this race.
Looking at the timing sheets right now, fastest car that last lap by, now 5th place. Ellis Wells, a 32.8 was the fastest lap on track at this top 5. So Wells is trying to make some ground back up here that he lost early on, making moves now, battling with Ethan Fonseca Moreno for that 4th spot.
Yeah, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno for most of this race has just been committed to running that, to ripping the cushion up at the top of the Homestead Miami Speedway. The one thing, though, you got to look out for running that top is there is a very big bump in the middle of turns 3 and 4 that wants to shoot you up the track. If you're running that top,
battle for the lead. Here comes Luke Peters. Side by side contact with Rivera and Peters. Peters up the track trying to save it, fighting with a handful of car, but somehow able to gather it back up. They're still side by side, heading for turn 1.
That's going to allow Samuel Huff to pull up on them. They are really tight together, trying to stay off each other.
Rivera's struggling to
really
hit the
neither one gaining an advantage right now. Cody Rivera's able to get nose slightly ahead, but Luke Peters the momentum off the corner.
Still side by side they go. Here comes Huff now back in the background. In the picture, trying to make a move here, see if he can go 2 for 1. Meanwhile, back behind him, they're 3 wide between Moreno, Wells, and Brown.
And normally, and there, and finally, Luke Peters able to get clear of Cody Rivera's new leader, the 50 proximity racing machine of Luke Peters. That was, he really was able just to stay consistent on that top line, and that momentum off the corner was able to get him by. Meanwhile, Samuel Huff now going to look to get by the 36 of Cody Rivera's for that second position.
And it looks like he'll do it on the inside now. You see Rivera's going to the outside, and that number 36, Sarah McLaren Ford Mustang.
Samuel Huff was able to clear him, but big run down the straight for Cody Rivera. He'll look back to his inside here in the turns 1 and 2.
So I'm getting right up on that left rear quarter panel, side draft, and then pull back down to the bottom lane. It's 36 trying anything he can to get back up here, at least a second, but still side by side off the corner with the 03 and the 36.
Yeah, and on iRacing, that side draft, running right next to that car next to you to take the air away from them and pull them back to you, it is unclear whether it actually works on iRacing. I've heard some people say that iRacing does not have side draft in the programming, but at least in my mind it works, so therefore I do it. And I think that's what everybody's view is on it. So it can be a little dangerous. You got to run real close to that guy next to you to really make it work, but you're seeing it there. This driver tried to use it. Meanwhile, Ellis Wells has managed to get clear of Ethan Cyclerado up to the 4th position. Still the fastest car on track as he tries to set his sail and set his sights on those 3 leaders in front of him, Peters, Huff, and Riveras.
Noticing too that Ethan Von Moreno that time by went to the bottom lane, not really up there on the wall, kind of drifting out of the bottom. Looked like Ollie Reeves might have got the wall in the back there in that 9th spot. You see how they fan out here through 1 and 2. You see the 08, that is Cody Webster goes to the top lane. Aaron Brown kind of falling behind. Dane Cruz to the bottom there, just back in the background. Passing that 12 machine, that is Ethan Eckert. He had a pretty good run going until that incident. It kind of took him out of it. Burned up his tires pretty good, so he is struggling with grip in that number 12 machine. Currently the first car 1 lap down as we hit lap 34.
Yeah, meanwhile moving into the top. Meanwhile, moving into the top 5, we got the 08. We got a caution on the track.
And it is the 56 of Devin Frank. Front end damage, and that likely will do it for the stage. He is going to tow, and we're going to take a look at your JCTV replay to see just what happened to this 56 machine. It's all by himself here. Just loses it there. Smacks that inside wall.
Yeah, I am not able to see it on my replay. I've still got it fixed compared to last week in terms of showing all the cars, but still having 1 or 2 cars at the very back of the pack not showing up for me. So yeah, Devin Frank, he's kind of in struggle this race. I believe he was involved in that last accident or that accident with Shockey Tarpley as well. So not a great day here for that crunch machine of Devin Frank. His car more was getting crunched rather than. As we actually are going to see. Oh, never mind. We're not going to see people pitting. I thought Luke Peters might be coming down pit road there. Faked me out.
Yeah, why would you pit here, Brett? Why would you pit here?
Well, in my opinion, I would pit here because I don't care about stage points as much as I care about race points. I would probably keep the stage points if I'm like up towards the very front, but if I'm further back, I'm going to go ahead and pit here and stay out at the stage break. Because it's only going to be like probably a 1 or 2 lap race to the end of the stage. And that said, I think pitting here, you could stay out that stage break, take the track position. As you see, a lot of drivers down pit road. I believe Dane Cruz is going to be or Cody Webster is going to be the first one off, followed by Dane Cruz, and then Malachi Drake, Zachary Thornton, and Brian Lorenzo. Of those who pitted, the top 15 cars stayed out on the track. Yeah, that's where I think the strategy, that's one of those things, the stages. that it adds to a lot of these races is you have to make decisions on whether you're going to go for the stage points or go for the race points. We saw it at Pocono too. Cameron Caldwell, the eventual race winner at Pocono in the ITPN Truck Series this past Saturday, really lost his track position in stage one, was having issues, pitted with 3 to go in stage one, and then stayed out at the stage break and took the lead and really was at the front for the rest of the race. Never really relinquished that track position. And I think that's kind of what some of these drivers who pitted right now are thinking is get that track position and hopefully you just never give it up.
As they continue to pace here, it should be, if even a one-lap shootout. I would be shocked if they let that go ahead and try to go for a one-lap shootout, but we've seen crazier things in different races, so who fully knows? Looks like choosing this time, so we might get a one-lap shootout here.
Yeah, we will have a one-lap dash to the stage points. It'll be interesting to see how these drivers up front, how aggressive they get. I mean, we've seen, you're going to be on old tires in this launch. I'm also going to be interested to see how those drivers on fresh tires, how aggressive they are trying to work their way through the pack. The first of them is Cody Webster in the 16th position right now. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. You got to watch out for wheel spin if you're on old tires here. This track's really abrasive. It could be really easy to spin your tires and spin out or hit another car or just not get going on this launch. So it's going to be crucial just to watch that wheel spin as Luke Peters and Samuel Huff will lead the field of green, followed by Cody Rivera and Ellis Wells.
It's going to be one lap to determine the stage winner here. Fast Cash Racing Products 175 at Homestead Miami Speedway 4. Coast to Coast Racing League. Pace cars off. Luke Peters, Samuel Huff, your front row to the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Back racing for one lap here in the first stage.
And a really good launch there for the 50 of Luke Peters. Able to get clear out in front. Cody Rivera and Samuel Huff now side by side for that second position. Cody Rivera's looking like he's going to clear Samuel Huff for second and slide up in front of him off the corner. Meanwhile, a gaggle of cars behind them trying to work their way up through this field. See Aaron Brown is just with the position now on the inside of Ellis Wells for fourth. Meanwhile, Luke Peters clean sailing out in front as he appears he will come off turn 4 and will take the victory here in stage 1. As we got cars sliding off the corner, possibly wrecking.
That'll do it for the stage. Luke Peters gonna take home top points.
And our official stage results here, top 10 finishers, I believe, receiving points here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series. Your stage winner, Luke Peters. Second place, Cody Rivera. Third, Samuel Huff. Fourth, Aaron Brown. Fifth, Ellis Wells. Sixth, ETB, Ethan Fonseca-Moreto. Seventh, Wyatt Roberts. Eighth, Ollie Reeves. Ninth, Andretti Robinson. And 10th, Tristan Troll.
Speaking of our teams, looks like we're not showing some certain paint schemes. Not sure why.
Yeah, and that restart for Tristan Troll was enough to really let him set out in front. Meanwhile, in the battle among cars that had pitted there and were looking to make fresh tires work, Dane Cruz, now the top runner of those, he pulls up to the 14th position by the end of that stage. Really, most of the guys who pitted, though, weren't able to really make hay with those fresh tires. Didn't really gain anything on that restart. So maybe tires not as big a factor as I perhaps thought in this race.
But we'll have to wait and see. We're going to let the field get their pit stops in. Once we get done with that, we will get a hold of our stage winner, Luke Peters. But first, he's got to lead the field down pit road and see if he can't win the race off and try to get some points going his way.
And here, it's all about executing. You got to get in and out of your box cleanly. Don't speed. iRacing pit stops, you don't see like in real life where you really get a lot of variation of position typically on pit road. The drivers don't have a lot of control. You might see you gain a spot or two or lose a spot or two, but usually if you can be clean coming in and out of the box, that's going to be the difference. As we see here, Cody Rivera is probably a little better into his box, able to beat Samuel Huff out of the pit road for the second position.
Well, the race off pit road is won by Luke Peters. He'll be restarting 15th. Dane Cruz assuming the race lead after pitting before the stage. But Brett, what do you say we try to get a hold of our stage winner here, Luke Peters?
Unfortunately, I am looking at our voice chats we got in this server, and it does not appear Luke Peters is in a voice chat in this server, so I am not able to pull him in, unfortunately. If we want, we could probably pull in our second place stage finisher, Cody Riveras.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We've got our stage winner is not here, so that's fine. We will just showcase he is the stage winner. No big deal.
Yeah, unfortunate. But Luke Peters really, I think, really emerging as one of the championship favorites here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series. Last season, in the Clash was one of the strongest cars all race long. Ended up finishing second. Then last week at the Daytona International Speedway, I tried to check my results on that since obviously the technical issues, I wasn't able to see the entire race. But yeah, but every race so far this year, he has showed a lot of speed, and I think going forward, we're gonna really need to look out for that 50 car as he goes for the championship. Cody Riveras, last year champion, P2 at that stage as well. So still a lot of the same names up front, but some new ones as well here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series. It will be interesting to see what happens as we get ready. I believe we are going to choose this time. It'll be interesting to see what happens on this restart, as we have a whole new group of cars we have not seen up front today now leading this field with Dane Cruz, Cody Webster, Luke Mahone, Nicholas Borowski, Malachi Drake, Zachary Thornton, Greg Snellgrove, Alexander Schumacher, Brian Lorenzo, and Traber Burns now making up the top 10, all of whom pitted under the caution before the stage. Ethan Eckert, Patrick Coluccio, Brian Lucan, Jason Radcock also stayed out at that stage break, having pitted up before the stage. For Luke Peters, all the way back in the 15th position. It'll be just fun to watch the fastest cars in this field, such as Luke Peters, Cody Riveras, and Samuel Huff, trying to work their way through the field as we get ready to come green here at the end of this lap.
It'll be Dane Cruz choosing the inside lane to his outside. It's going to be the 5 of Luke Mahone. Back in row 2, there's Cody Webster and Nicholas Borowski. Row 3 sees Malachi Drake and last week's winner, Zachary Thornton. Row 4 is the 3 car of Greg Snellgrove. To his outside is the 1 of Brian Lorenzo. And it's Ethan Eckert, Adam Schumacher, rounding out your top 10. Top 14 drivers stayed out after that last stage caution. So we'll see how this shakes up the field. But here we go. Green flag is back out in the air. Dane Cruz leads the field back racing here at Homestead.
Yeah, Dane Cruz, not my mom's favorite driver, I learned after a Tuesday night, but in my opinion, a really strong driver. As he's out to the lead here, followed by that 5 of Luke Mahone. Good launch for that JCTV car. Kind of rare to see a JCTV car out in the lead. It seems like whenever we have cars sponsored by JCTV, no matter how good the driver, seems like they always are running into problems and getting involved in incidents. So good to see one out front here tonight.
Looking And back Luke Peters and, oh, we saw a blink out of Cody Rivera's back in the background there, but they're trying to fight their way through this traffic as quick as they can.
Yeah, they're 3 wide of Cody Radchak right now, and that 5-7 Aaron Brown right behind him. Almost a little bit of contact behind him with
They are
Aaron
stacking
Brown. They're
up,
be
maybe a
4
little
or 5.
contact.
They were 4, maybe 5 wide there in the middle of 1 and 2. They all somehow keep it together. They're still 4 wide in the background. Ellis Wells among those in the middle of that. Very tight racing here in the mid-pack as these drivers who had been the fastest cars all race now tried to work their way back to the front of the field. Meanwhile, Dane Cruz out to a nice lead over.
Oh, there they go, spinning, wrecking. Tristan Troll into the inside wall. Patrick Coluccio involved as well, but somehow we stay green.
Yeah, we are still green somehow. I thought a caution was out for sure with that, but iRacing does what iRacing does sometimes. Doesn't throw a caution always when you get wrecks. Dane Cruz still out in the lead. And meanwhile, Luke Peters, the first of the guys who pitted under that previous caution, is up to the 11th position. They've kind of gotten single filed out for the most part. Meanwhile, Cody Rivera is side by side with Luke Peters for that 11th spot, as they're both behind Ethan Eckert.
Rivera's might have got put in the wall there. He slides back a little bit, might have gotten some help from Samuel Huff.
Yeah, I think he just had to check up for that 12 and just had to get out of it too much and really check out. I don't know if he actually touched the wall or not, but definitely cost him a couple positions there. Oh, big bobble there from Brian Lucan off the corner, right in front of the 70, and they're going to touch the 50 car in the wall. A big bobble off the corner there from Brian Lucan, and Luke Peters actually got into the fence a little bit. I think he's fine, but a dangerous moment there for a Stage 1 winner.
Oh!
Big hit for Eckert to the back. Multiple cars around. I think Rivera's might have been involved.
And this one will bring out the caution. Ethan Eckert involved.
Yeah, I don't know if he got loose or got some help off the corner, but that definitely started with him. Yeah, he just got loose, overcorrected up into the fence, came down. Big contact into our Stage 1 runner-up of Cody Rivera's, and who came down and collected Jason Radchcock. Hard contact to the inside wall for Jason Radchcock. That might end his night.
We're going to get JCTV replay here. Show you what happened. The back straightaway first. We'll show you this front stretch, this intense battling they were having going on here. Nobody giving an inch.
And just to note, it appears Cody Rivera did get some significant right front damage in that accident. I think the suspension's fine, but definitely some aero damage that he's going to need to get fixed if he wants to still be competitive in this race, I believe.
Heavy hit for the 71 into the inside wall, and we'll go on board with the driver, the 36, Cody Rivera's. Led a good amount of this race, but damage here trying to fight through the field after the stage break.
Yeah, it appears he's not going to pit here, and I think that's the wrong decision, to be honest. He might not realize how bad that right front looks, but not always the case, but usually on iRacing, when you got aero damage, especially these cars like the next gen, which has that new damage model, you just want to come in the pits and take all your repairs. Once it gets repaired all the way, it'll probably be back to what it was before, but until he gets that fixed, that car's going to be slow. Or at least I would expect it to. Then again, I've had times when I thought a car was going to be slow to the damage and end up being the fastest car on track, so. No guarantees, but if I were him, I'd come to pit road here, get that car fixed. appears we will be choosing this time. Apologies for that silence there. I was trying to grab a drink because my voice is dead. Before my voice completely dies due to a cold I've been having.
Getting Cruz to the bottom. Luke Mahone to the top side there. See Cody Webster and Malachi Drake going bottom. That opens the door for Brian Lorenzo to go to the outside of row number 2.
Yeah, some interesting decisions there. Brian Lorenzo going to be the big winner going up to that outside of that second row. We'll see what he can do. He's usually one of the strongest drivers in this league. Last season's season runner-up in season 0 of this league. As he tries to get to the front of the field. That strategy still seems to be paying off. Luke Peters has only made it up to the 10th position so far.
Get ready to get back going in the Fast Cash Racing Products 175. It's Dane Cruz, still your race leader. Looking back, your stage winner, Luke Peters, is up to 9th right now inside of row 5. We'll see how long it takes him to get to the front. Pace car is off. Green flag back out in the air. Back racing here at Homestead.
Another great launch there for the 11 of Dane Cruz. That JCTV Toyota out to the lead. Meanwhile, the 08. And we got a car. I thought we might have seen a car spin. I think my eyes just tricked me there.
Got a car that's slow. It's 23. That is Nicholas Borowski. Issues there on the restart.
I think he got sideways in turns 1 and 2 and was slow. I think that's what I saw out of the corner of my eye. And yeah, I just went back and looked. He actually came down and looked like he had some net code with the 50 of Peters, who was peeking aggressively to his inside. And great save by that driver of the 23 machine, that crunchy roll Toyota Camry.
Right up front, battling for the top 10 spots. Luke Peters trying to make some moves. Huff and Brown as well are following in suit. Just ahead of them right there, last week's winner, Zachary Thornton, currently in the 6th spot. A different strategy than the rest of the leaders, of course. Hitting before that last lap stage shootout.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out right now to Luke Mahone. Last season, I know didn't always have the greatest results last season, but having a really good run right now up in that 3rd position for that number 5 Ryobi machine. Battling side by side, trying to get by the 08 of
wrecking!
Second.
The 36 is in it. Ellis Wells, Samuel Huff, big one on the backstretch. And Cody Rivera's is involved.
And Rivera's had actually been pretty on pace on that restart, given his damage. But looked like almost 2 separate accidents coming off that second corner there. Cody Rivera's and Ellis Wells having contact with the 52 of who is it? Oh, Brian Lucan. Cody Rivera's more damage to the front of that machine. Ellis Wells, our Clash winner, hard contact to the inside wall. Also the 3 of the 03 of Samuel Huff, heavily involved as well. That car looks like it is a lot of damage. Almost all our top finishers in stage 1 except Luke Peters caught up in that accident.
So we're looking back to see what happened to this second group here. We saw the contact with the 35 and the 3. It looks like Huff just drifted up into Thornton, but at the same time, Lukens hits the wall, comes off, hits Wells and Rivera's. They both go for a spin. Somehow not as big a wreck as it could have been.
And honestly, I think the 3, out of all the stars involved, I think the 3, surprisingly, of Trevor Huff might be all right. He did a really good job of not having super heavy contact with the inside wall. He did go get lifted off the ground by Ellis Wells, but that did seem to give him a lot of damage. So he might be all right to keep going here in this race. That was a meatball for Ellis Wells. No surprise of the heavy contact with the inside wall for that 57. Another one of our drivers who I would say is one of the who is a championship hopeful in this league. So off to a rough start to the season, a 25th place finish at Daytona, followed by likely a DNF or a poor finish here today, as he's got a meatball flag right now in that 57 machine.
Likely going to be out of this race. So not the way Ellis Wells wanted the season started, especially with that first stage being so fast there in the later half of it. Having a pretty good chance if it stayed green to maybe go up there and make a run for it.
Yeah, a lot of those drivers who are fast in stage 1 caught up in that. The 36 of Cody Rivera's, the 3 Fast Cash Racing Products machine of, that's the 3, but it's showing on the sim as the 03. I'm not sure how the numbers are supposed to work out here, but of Samuel Huff. Although Samuel Huff, I think maybe jinxed tonight. I feel like just in general, whenever your sponsor is the sponsor of the race, it never ends well for you. And tonight, Fast Cash Racing Products, of course, the sponsor of the Fast Cash Racing Products 250 here at Homestead. Sorry, 175. Really off for my math or numbers. But after all that has happened recently, the drivers, I think, really making strong saves here today. Some of the drivers who we saw have good runs at Daytona as well. Malachi Drake, Brian Lorenzo, both coming off of good finishes at Daytona and now taking advantage of the strategy in this race, running up in the 4th and 5th positions. They're looking to just keep building on that point total that they were able to accumulate at Daytona, trying to keep building towards the playoffs and towards the season championship here in this league. And I think that's where you're seeing the strategy really pay off for some drivers, those drivers who stayed out on those earlier cautions. As they just chose, we got the front row here will be Dane Cruz and Cody Webster, followed by Malachi Drake, Luke Mahone, Brian Lorenzo, and Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown, now the first car on fresh tires, restarting that 6th position. Luke Peters is in 7th with Greg Snellgrove on row 4. And row 5, we got Andretti Robinson and Ollie Reeves. Got to give a quick shout out to Ollie Reeves. Love the Ollie's Bargain Barn paint scheme on the car driven by Ollie. So some good marketing right there.
Pace car is going to dive off to the safety of pit road. Dane Cruz and the 08. The front row, Cody Webster trying to get by that 11 machine. The green flag flies, back racing here at Homestead.
Another good jump for Dane Cruz, although not quite as good a jump. Cody Webster more from this time. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide behind him. That's 7 of Aaron Brown, one of the drivers who is on slightly fresher tires. Got a big run off the corner, but a huge block by the 09 of Malachi Drake.
Yeah, Brown trying to take advantage of that later stop in the rest of the field up ahead of him. He is the first car of those that pit after the stage break right now, but we got a battle for the lead. Cody Webster to the inside of Dane Cruz.
Yeah, Cruz had a little bit of slipped up a little bit off of turn 4 there. Looked like let Cody Webster get inside. Cody Webster is going to clear him for the lead. That 08 machine to the lead of this race.
Cody Webster now going to take a turn out front, leading this race. Gets by the 11 of Dane Cruz. Malachi Drake in 3rd. Aaron Brown back in 4th. And Luke Mahone is in 5th with Brian Lorenzo right behind him, trailing. Trying to see if he can make a move, as well as our stage winner, Luke Peters, is also in this picture.
And I also got to give a shout out to Greg Snellgrove, driver of the 3. That got a rough night. Kind of got involved in 1 or 2 of those earlier incidents, but has worked his way up to the 8th spot, still has a clean car. And he's actually looking to the inside of the 50 of Luke Peters right now as well. They're 3 wide for that 4th spot. Luke Mahone, Brian Lorenzo, and Aaron Brown.
Brown's still fighting to defend off for 4th right now, but he's able to clear Lorenzo. He will now take over. You see Luke Peters getting by, trying to get by Luke Mahone if he can, to the outside of the 5 machine, going for spot number 6.
Yeah, Aaron Brown trying to advantage, but really, there's not much of a tire difference. Only one green flag lap, as most people pitted for the stage. No, that 09 to Malachi Drake, look at there. Dave Cruz leading the outside of Cody Webster for the race lead.
Webster did not have a good exit out of turn number 2. That allowed both the 09 and the 11 to close up and try to make a move. They're going to see Dane Cruz trying to set up the outside lane again here. He's going to have a run. Can he make the move stick this time? Side by side. That time by, give it to Dane Cruz.
Yeah, he got a huge launch off of that corner, ripping the cushion there off the corner. Able to get to the lead, clear that 08 benchmark forward of Cody Webster. But still, Cody Webster fighting back. He's going to clear him here in 1 and 2, but Dane Cruz once again coming on the high side down the straightaway. Huge side drafts. Meanwhile, here comes Aaron Brown into the picture, looking to get side by side of Malachi Drake for that 3rd position.
It's also allowed Luke Peters to close the gap as well. He's in the mix now, too. Webster pulls in front. He'll maintain the race lead. Dane Cruz still sliding into 2nd. It's Malachi Drake, Aaron Brown, and Luke Peters, the top 5 as they run.
And entering that corner, you can see that at Homestead, the different lines there. Cody Webster up against the fence. Dane Cruz in the middle and Malachi Drake at the bottom. They're still going to slot in right where they were running. We're almost 3 wide for the lead there, though, for a split second. Aaron Brown going to look to the outside of Malachi Drake for that 3rd position.
Luke Peters battling with Brian Lorenzo yet again for 5th.
Yeah, that Optic Chevrolet of Aaron Brown, I believe that's a scheme that Corey LaJoy is running the Cup Series.
It is not.
Never mind. I could have sworn he had a sponsor of Optic Gaming at some point, but
he has, just not this specific paint scheme actually. So this is a custom scheme, but this number and sponsor have partnered together. But you see here, Aaron Brown ripping the top side here, trying to make something work, going for this race lead if he can. He's got a good run going anyway so far, up in the 4th position.
Yeah, he was the driver. Oh, that's weird. Mine just showed both Brown and Peters blink out off turn 4. I think that was on my end. I don't think that was on.
I got that on the same end, but we're gonna battle here. Dane Cruz, excuse me, to the inside of Cody Webster now on the exit of turn 2, trying to go for the race lead again. Malachi Drake there as well. There's Cash Culp on the bottom, gonna let the field go by. Cruz now using the bottom lane, trying to get by Cody Webster.
He's going to clear him here.
Oh, he's going to slide in front. Webster's sliding.
Saves it. Meanwhile, the 7 of Aaron Brown blinking behind for a second. Now he's going to slot to the inside of the 09 of Malachi Drake, who had the check up.
It stacks the field up behind him, but Dane Cruz takes the race lead. Cody Webster struggling now. Right there, ripping the lip if he can. Aaron Brown in the bottom for 2nd. Side by side, they go to the back.
Yeah, Luke Peters looked to make it 3 wide, but he's going to get hung out on the bottom. Meanwhile, Luke Mahone coming back into this picture. Side by side of Luke Peters for the 5th position. Cody Webster tried to dive into the bottom, unable to get side by side with Dane Cruz there.
Couldn't quite do it. He slides back to 2nd. Oh, Aaron Brown got the wall there on the exit of 4. Here comes Malachi Drake there. Luke Mahone's going to get turned. Sideways. Sideways. What a save. What a save by Luke Mahone.
Yeah, that car was pretty much around, but he managed to hold on to it. Gonna lose a lot of spots, drop all the way back to the 11th or 12th position here, but still running this race, and we're still green.
What an incredible save by Luke Mahone to keep it going. He'll drop back to the 12th spot. He continues on fading back, but what a save.
Yeah, I just went back and looked at the onboard there. He had that wheel entering the corner almost 180 degrees to the right and didn't overcorrect. That is some excellent driving for the 5 of Luke Mahone. Obviously, though, now he's going to probably have to take it easy, though. Probably heated up the tires a lot. Tires usually don't like it when you slide sideways, but great job just able to keep going in this race here for that 5 Ryobi machine.
Battles continue here at Homestead. We've reached lap 73. We still got a bit of ways to go in this race. While we're going, we're going to take a quick JCTV side-by-side break. Don't go anywhere. You won't miss any of the action here in the Fast Cash Racing Products 175. It's Dane Cruz, race leader. As we take you on a quick ad break, we'll be right back. You won't miss a thing as we go JCTV side by side.
Hey man, you cut me off back there. What you gonna do about it? Oh man.
Can you feel it? The taste of Coca-Cola. Well, the race is
Alright, fine. Are we good? We're good.
As a Grand Prix world champion in triathletes, I know how important it is to stretch before any competition.
I also know it's important to stretch. Mobil 1's advanced technology lubricates our engines
Yes, that is true.
and my joints.
Oh my word.
Soda cookies. You want one, Jensen?
Fly the flip, too much hot air. Race announcer, same thing there. Wouldn't get a word in with you know who. Just get down on the track and do what you do. Slide down in my seat, pull the belts tight. Get up on the wheel and let the dust fly. Never know how. Never know how.
Dad, where'd you get that?
Oh, you won't believe what just happened.
Don't tell me you got the last Diet Dew.
Yeah.
I love the taste of Diet Dew. What do you want for it? Deal.
Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, it tastes that good.
Hey, hotshot. Meter's running.
Ooh. Call Logano. Hey, Joey, you can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude, I'm way ahead of you.
You saved at the pump?
Yeah, I saved at the pump.
The pump?
The pump.
He saved at the pump!
Now you can save at the pump when you shop at Advance Auto Parts. Learn more at advanceautoparts.com/gas rewards.
Now, it's my turn.
Kyle Busch, welcome to Menards. What can I help you with today?
Well, I've got my shopping list right here. I need some green treated lumber. I need a brown Mastercraft door. I need red Clearview cabinets and some blue Dutch Boy paint.
Those are M&Ms.
And
At Menards, we carry the world's best selection of home improvement products to help you complete your next project.
you've got more of these, right?
It's all gonna fit in your car?
I got a trunk.
Man, we're door to door. I have the better car, fresher tires. I drove it in deep, and you missed it. I know you wanted to watch it, but you got throttled by your data plan, and it slowed you down. You hit your data limit streaming all that techno music, didn't you? I mean, really? Man, you've got some questionable taste in music.
Switch to Sprint, the only network with truly unlimited data.
So welcome you back here to Homestead Miami Speedway for the Fast Cash Racing Products 175 here for the Coast to Coast Cup Series. Green flag pit stops are underway here. Cody Webster was the first one to dart down pit road to get some fresh rubber.
And we're seeing a mix of strategy.
We've seen a lot of chaos we saw happen in the commercial break. Luke Mahone got turned. For instance, we saw Aaron Brown have some issues coming off the corner as well. Brett, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at the timing of when people are going to come to pit road here. I do think coming early is a bit of a risk. We're seeing, like, the action's not really ever calmed down here. We've seen a lot of cars getting loose, and if a caution comes out right now, it could completely kill your race. But at the same time, if you run long, honestly, I am not seeing a huge amount of tire fall off to what those drivers who just came off pit road are running compared to our race leaders. They're pretty much running the same lap times. So I don't think when you come to pit road as far as tires is actually going to make as much of a difference as maybe I thought it was going to be. I was going to say that the drivers who just pitted now about a half-tenth faster. So coming to pit road later is going to give you a tire advantage the rest of the race. But those guys who pitted early, there's not a huge tire difference. And I think pitting early here could very well cycle drivers like Cody Webster and Malachi Drake into position to win this race.
It's going to be just a matter of when you get off of pit road and making sure that you manage everything properly. That's a big thing about it. So we're going to see it as it plays out. But Dane Cruz staying out leading right now. 48 laps since he came down pit road. It's going to be a little bit of a longer push, but I wonder if they're just trying to split this straight in half down the middle of the rest of this race.
Yeah, and that's the other thing you're going to have to look for here, getting onto pit road. Homestead Miami Speedway is one of the more difficult pit roads in iRacing to get onto and in real life. We've seen a couple times drivers miss this pit road, both in real life and on iRacing, so it's a really narrow pit road entry, and those pit barrels are easy to mess up and hit. So that's what that we're going to have to look for here as everybody's coming around here to perform green flag pit stops.
Yeah, coming up, 21 laps to go this next time by. See when Dane Cruz, Luke Peters, and others decide to make their final pit stop. I'm wondering if maybe some of these guys might not even take tires and just a splash and go of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, the lack of tire fall off, I would actually be considering it. I mean, maybe a second. Like, right now, the fastest driver on track out of those who pitted last time by, I believe, was Malachi Drake. He ran pretty much a 33-second flat. The leader's running at 33.6. So you're gaining that time, but at the same time, with these cars that have pitted, you're not gaining a lot of time.
And a big thing, too, with this influx of cautions we've had throughout this race, that's really allowed guys like Dane Cruz, Luke Peters and such to kind of just save their stuff. But as you see now, Luke Peters is on pit road. So Dane is going to stretch it dry, I believe, in this number 11 machine. All these cautions that he's had, being able to just kind of save fuel even. You know, just it's really been able to stretch this run he's had for quite a while. So it's not shocking to me to see this 11 out front. Maybe trying for a little offset strategy. I don't believe he's running for the championship here in the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series, but very likely could be just going for a win. You see now finally going to elect to come to pit road in that number 11 JCTV Toyota Camry. So as he pits, that leaves the field in the hands of last week's winner, Zachary Thornton. We didn't get a chance to interview him because of the fact that we did not have a broadcast last week, but I just wanted to extend congratulations to this 35 machine opening this season off with a win at Daytona. We'll see what he does. Ethan Fonseca Moreno also on pit road with Dane Cruz this time by. We'll see what the 11 and the 43 elect to do on pit road to try to get to the end of this race and push for a race win. Right now, that top 5 have yet to pit. Luke Mahone has stayed out as well. The 08 of Cody Webster was the start of coming to pit road. We'll see. There he is right there just behind the race leader, Zachary Thornton. And Dane Cruz on the access road coming off of pit road, trying to push it. It's going to be a close one, but there is Cody Webster going by the 11 machine. They'll beat him off of pit road. Dane Cruz will just drop the 2 spots back to what will cycle out to be 3rd, but he will have fresher tires than these 2 drivers ahead of him, so he'll have a chance to really go after it. Actually, yeah, he'll follow Luke Peters too.
Yeah, Luke Peters made an aggressive move to the bottom there. I think if Luke Peters are seeing Dane Cruz going off pit road, these cars we've seen, especially on restarts after the start of this race, with fresh tires, these cars are a handful. You cannot push for a lap or 2 until those tires are fully up to temperature. And so that's what you want to take advantage of, is if you're coming up on a car exiting the pits, is you really want to push them because they are just not going to be able to drive it as hard as you are with tires that are up to temperature. But we are seeing right now how Cody Webster and Malachi Drake, it's paid off for them getting into the lead, but only about a second or two lead over Luke Peters. And they have 10-lap older tires, so it might be a difficult task to hold on for those two drivers as they lead on their strategy.
Now, we've seen these drivers go about 50-something laps. Longest run, Nicholas Borowski went 54 laps just now. Zachary Thornton's out there for 33 laps. Is it possible that this 35 is going to try to stretch to the end?
That is possible. I believe he topped off. If you remember, he was involved in the accident that brought out our most recent caution. I don't think you can make it on fuel. We still got 25 laps left. But he would have to go 59 laps. We just saw a car go 54 laps. It's not completely out of the question.
Especially if he is clutching in and saving fuel through the corners. He's got Dane Cruz behind him here in the number 11, battling with the 1 of Brian Lorenzo. But I mean, if it's, hey, anything is possible, they say. Kevin Garnett once said that very famously, anything is possible. But just kind of looking right now at the field as they run, his closest competition is just barely ahead of him. You know, the 08, Cody Webster that currently leads the cars that came off that have pit yet, is just barely ahead of him. So he's got a whole track, he got the whole track pretty much of, you know, a link between himself, Cody Webster, that he can kind of just coast a little bit.
Yeah, I am looking at his onboard right now. He doesn't seem to be doing that, though. He, at least is not clutching in. Then again, different drivers have different setups. He might not even have a clutch pedal or an ability to clutch in. He does appear to be off the throttle a lot, but that's kind of the nature of the beast here at Homestead Miami Speedway. You're off throttle a lot in the middle of these corners. You really just kind of let the car coast and roll that center. So I'm not sure if he's really saving a lot, but we'll see. He tries to stretch it. It's going to be interesting to see how far Brad Suwinski and Tyler Hallahan, the two drivers.
Tyler Hallahan actually is on pit road, so. Oh, and you see a little mixing up. Cody Webster trying to hold off Luke Peters, who is caught up to him now and is to his outside.
And this, I think, is the battle for the win. I don't think Thornton
can make
it.
Contact between Webster and Peters. Peters got into Webster's right rear. He kept it straight. They're going to be side by side entering turn 3. Webster leaning on Peters, but Peters is going to get the advantage. And Luke Peters will clear for the race lead. Now, Brad Suwinski is on pit road. That leaves just one car out. That is the 35 of Zachary Thornton.
Yeah, and Suwinski went 53 laps. And I don't think Thornton is saving that much. And plus, those 53 laps was with the aid of some caution laps. I don't think he can make it.
Only one way to
I
find
have been
out.
wrong before.
We've seen it on JCTV before. You see Cody Webster dropping back from that earlier stop in the rest of the field. Finally, the more worn-out tires are starting to catch up to him. But we've seen it before in Homestead. Oh, contact between Malachi Drake and Dane Cruz. But, you know, you go back, Season 2 of the In the Pits News Truck Series at Homestead Miami Speedway. The last lap, the one truck runs out of fuel in the final corners. Jason Gracias loses that race coming to the start-finish line because he ran out of gas in 3 and 4. Second place is able to just leapfrog him to take away the win. Could we possibly see that play out again here tonight? We'll have to see.
Yeah, and I remember being in that race. I thought I was for sure going to be the first person who could make it on fuel. I thought like everybody in front of me was going to run out. That's when I learned I was not that good at saving fuel because everybody else in front of me finished. I think I still got a 5th or 6th place finish in that race, but that was some lessons learned. But yeah, it can play out here. But I'm Zachary Thornton. You have a huge lead, and really, there's no reason to be running as fast a laps as you can, as he is right now. There is 17 laps to go. You can be over a second a lap slower than the car behind you, and you will still win this race. I would be backing it up huge right now, lifting like halfway down the straightaway and just coasting, clutching it and coasting, like. But I don't know if that's his game plan. His game plan might just be to run it long and hope we get a caution. Because if we get a caution, probably it's been long enough. I think everybody else is probably going to want to come back down pit road just for fresh rubber if we do get a caution.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry Punch, for that update. But yeah, Zachary Thornton, 25 seconds is the gap with just 17 laps to go in this race. He's still got to go about 17, maybe 16 laps to make it to the end of this race. So if he's not been saving, he might want to start saving now. It's going to be big. Oh, spinner! Right in front of the race leader. It's Aaron Brown. So much for having a save. Caution's going to fly. We're going to have a restart.
And I think that is exactly what Zachary Thornton wanted to see. If you're behind him, you're going to have to come down with him and be on the same tires and be behind him. Or you're going to have to stay out and he'll be on fresher tires.
This all starts with Cody Webster in the 08. You see him right there. He slides back up the track. No knowledge that the 7-0 Aaron Brown is there. He hits the outside wall and then slides, locks it up, and just spins it back up the track right there. You see the field splitting, and there was your race leader, Zachary Thornton, going by.
Yeah, I got to thank the Cody there. Good job everybody missing Aaron Brown once he ended up spinning into the middle of the track, but I gotta think Cody Webster had no clue. I think he might have known he was 3 wide, but he probably thought Aaron Brown was further up the track or didn't realize how quickly he was coming back up on track. Just nothing really Aaron Brown could have done there.
So the big gainer here is going to be Ethan Fonseca Moreno will get the lucky dog, get the free pass, and get a chance to come down pit road and maybe use a set of tires to try to make some ground up on the field.
Unfortunately, it appears ETB may be having some internet issues at the moment, though. He is blinking a lot.
At the same time of that, water is wet and the sky is blue. That's a common occurrence here on JCTV.
Yeah, as somebody who's been behind him in multiple races here on JCTV, I can confirm that to be the case. Fortunate for Ethan, he's a really talented driver. They're going to see who comes, if anybody stays out here, if everybody's going to come back down pit road and take a fresh set of tires here.
Well, Zachary Thornton's going to get a blessing there because he got to pit so much earlier than the rest of the field because he was so far ahead. He still stays the race leader, and he'll have a fresh set of tires as well, like the rest of the field. So he'll have a chance to try to go back-to-back here to open the season.
Yeah, and based on his onboard, I don't think he was going to make it on fuel. I think that caution is exactly what he wanted with the strategy he was on. And it played out perfectly for him. Has put him, really was not going to be in a position to win this race, but the strategy has played out, and now he has a really good chance at winning this race. I don't know what his pace is. We haven't really seen him up at the front of the field a lot, but he's going to have every chance to try to hold off those hard-charging drivers behind him. Luke Peters, Dane Cruz, Brian Lorenzo. Also, Wyatt Roberts has quietly worked his way up into the 5th position. Wyatt Roberts, a driver who finished 5th at Daytona, looking to go back-to-back top 5s to start the season. Also had a really strong run in the Clash. Another driver really making his intents known as it regards to the championship early in this season. He's suddenly worked his way to the picture. I also got to think Malachi Drake and Cody Webster kind of wanted to see that caution since they had pitted early and were starting to fall back through the field.
Well, we're going to have a late race restart to sort things out.
And we got a lot of drivers here who are going to take a wave around, get back onto the lead lap. As we take one to green, they're going to choose this time by, and the top 3 all choose the bottom.
On the top side for Brian Lorenzo to now go. to row number 1.
Yeah, if I'm P4 and I see the top 3 all choose the same lane, I'm taking the front row every time. You just can't pass up gaining 3 lanes. Like, I don't care if it's the non-preferred lane. More than likely, you'll be able to retain at least. You probably won't keep the lead. You might not even keep second, but you're still going to gain a position probably. I don't think you're going to drop all the way back to 4th.
We'll see how this plays out. 12 laps to determine the winner of the Fast Cash Racing Products 175. Zachary Thornton, Brian Lorenzo, the front row. Then it's the number 50. That's Luke Peters, your stage winner. And Malachi Drake to his outside. Dane Cruz is in 5th. His outside is Greg Snellgrove. We'll see who can pull this one off and take home the checkered flag. 12 laps to go here at Homestead. Pace car is off. The green flag in hand. Back underway. Here we go. Peters got a great launch with Thornton. Now right there on his back bumper.
Yeah,
oh, look at the inside!
Yeah, it looked like Peters got a little loose off of turn 2 there. Unable to hold on to it. And Luke Peters back to the lead in this race as he looks to sweep both stage 1 and the race.
Yeah, Thornton slid. That allowed the 50 of Luke Peters to go by. So he's sliding again there on the back straight. It looks like Sean Kissany and Ethan Fonseca Moreno had issues. Kissany is slow back on the back. Meanwhile, they're side by side. Cody Webster leading all over Wyatt Roberts.
Yeah, they're spread out all around here right now. Multiple drivers running multiple lanes. They call off the corner. Still, everybody doing a good job keeping it straight, but a lot of loose cars as nobody's giving each other any space right now.
Nate Cruz trying to hang on to 3rd right now over Zachary Thornton.
Yeah, and Luke Peters has kind of checked out in front of this field, out to almost a half-second lead over Brian Lorenzo, who's also almost a half-second ahead of Dane Cruz. Then it's just a hornet's nest, everybody battling for every spot from Cruz on back. Somebody got on the wall off of turn 2 there. Not sure who it was. Somebody towards the top 5.
Laps to go. We get to the stripe next time. Everything kind of spreading out. Not a lot of battling here in the back half of this field. Luke Peters won that first stage. He's looking to see if he can sweep it in the race.
And I think his chances right now, if we stay green, are looking really strong. He just got such a good restart and really been able to check out in front of this field and actually pulling away. He was the fastest car last lap by almost a full by a couple hundredths over Brian Lorenzo and almost a tenth faster than the rest of the field.
Lorenzo's going to have to step it up if he wants a chance to go for the win, or maybe even get a late race yellow if he wants a shot at it. But Peters is currently the car to beat right now, out front leading, and with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and the way this race has gone, though, we've seen a lot of cars get sideways in this race, so I would not be at all surprised if we do get another caution. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we're able to keep it green here. I always prefer we get a decent run to the finish, but the way people race it, oh, somebody got way loose off of there off of turn 2.
Back with Andre Robertson dropping some spots. Now going to have, there's the 03 lap down. Trying to make a move by him, can't quite do it. Oh, Snellgrove! Sideways, he saves it! Back into the outside wall. What a save by the 3.
Yeah, that was very similar to what Luke Mahone did earlier. That wheel was once again turned very far to the right, but great job of driving by Snellgrove. We'll stay green. Still no caution here as we have only 6 laps left.
They get 5 to go when they cross the stripe this time. Luke Peters just hoping it stays green the rest of the way so he can claim his victory here tonight.
Yeah, Luke Peters, he's got to be thinking about the Clash. That race, he had almost, if I remember right, almost a half a lap lead at one point before a late barrage of yellows put him under constant attack from Ellis Wells. And eventually, on I believe the third or fourth restart, is when he slipped up, made a little mistake, and lost the lead of that race. And tonight, I'm thinking he's hoping we don't get shades of that. He hopes we just stay green here tonight.
He doesn't want to be like the Chosen One in Kung Pao and live under constant attack. He wants to just go out here and just clean this one up and finish it off with just 3 laps to go this next time by. We'll see if they keep it straight or if maybe we get a late race restart. But they're driving like crazy. Thornton's battling Malachi Drake right now for 4th. You see the field stacking up right there behind them. This is going to be a battle to keep your eye on here with 3 laps to go. This could lead to our caution if we get one.
Yeah, Wyatt Roberts also right in there. And also you see that 0-3. He's a lap down, but he is currently in that lucky dog position and is actually on pace with those lead lap cars. He was real fast early this race. I believe our 3rd place finisher in stage 1, Samuel Huff, just got caught up in that accident and struggled with that.
Cody Webster's all over the back of Zachary Thornton there, trying to shove him with the track. 2 laps to go, though. I don't think we're going to see it. Oh, Webster got put in the wall there. I believe that is Samuel Huff.
Yeah, I think Webster pushed the 35, actually hurt Webster. He looked like he pushed tight off that corner due to that.
And Webster's not even in position. Malachi Drake gonna slide and save it.
I think we are maybe setting a JCTV record for the number of cars sideways but not wrecking here tonight. We got a lot of cars getting loose throughout tonight's event.
But it doesn't matter. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go here on the Fast Cash Productions Racing Products 175. Luke Peters was the stage winner earlier on. You mentioned in the Clash. He had so many opportunities to hold off Ellis Wells to win it. Couldn't quite do it, but tonight there's going to be no barrage of late yellows to hold him back as he rounds 3 and 4 for the final time here tonight. He won the stage earlier. He'll win the race now. Out of 4, Luke Peters wins the Coast to Coast Cup Series Fast Cash Racing Products 175 here at Homestead.
Yeah, and a really strong performance here today for that 50 machine, Luke Peters. Honestly, I think I mentioned at the top of our show, but a statement of intent for the championship this season here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series. Went out there, led a lot of this race, and really showed that he's going to be one of the cars to beat this season. Also looking through our finishing results, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Brad Sawinski. Really didn't talk about him all day. He was actually on almost a similar strategy to Luke Peters. Had pitted not long before that last caution. Actually had to take a wave around back onto the lead lap under that last caution. Was able to work his way up to a 6th place finish. Really good run there for the 28.
And so with that, we'll take a look at your finishing results here for tonight's Fast Cash Racing Products 175. It was Luke Peters taking home the checkered flag. Ryan Lorenzo recovers for 2nd, and Dane Cruz is 3rd. Zachary Thornton, last week's winner, in 4th, going to go back-to-back top 5s, and Cody Webster finishing it in 5th. Brad Sawinski, Andretti Robinson, Malachi Drake, Wyatt Roberts, and then Luke Mahone there, rounding out your top 5, your top 10.
Yeah, we got the rest of the top 20 here. Nicholas Borowski comes home 11th. Greg Snowgrove 12th. Ollie Reeves 13th. Tyler Hallahan 14th. Patrick Coluccio, honestly, a great effort tonight from him. Looked like he got caught up in just about every accident early in this race, but kept at it, able to get a lead lap finish at 15th. Then first of our lap down cars, Samuel Huff in 16th, Traber Burns, Aaron Brown in 17th, Aaron Brown 18th, and Brady Floyd 19th, all 1 lap down. Tristan Troll comes home 20th, 5 laps down.
See Matthew Miles, Ellis Wells, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, other drivers that have had issues all night long. And then Cody Riveras led early, but issues taking him out of it. And then the rest of the field there of our 38 entries, Michael Walls going to finish last here tonight. So with that, we're going to pull up a special guest. You heard him last night. See if we can hear from him again today. We have our third place finisher here in tonight's Coast to Coast Racing Series Fast Cash Racing Products 175. That would be Mr. Dane Cruz. He was in the booth with me just 2 nights ago. And he is now here with us scoring a podium. It kind of came down to pit stops and everything there, Dane, but you had a good chance at it. You're going to finish third. What was that race like for you from the cockpit of the 11?
Well, it was a good time when we got the long runs in. The first, 10 or 15 laps of a run, I was just slow, but once the tires started going off a little bit, I was probably one of the fastest on the racetrack, for sure. And clean air was super good, so yeah, I enjoyed being out front. I don't know how many laps I led, if you know, but I might have led the most. I'm not sure, but yeah, that caution with 20 to go really screwed me. I thought that was I was chasing down Luke Peters, and I think I was able to hold off the one, and then we just got that yellow, and everyone put tires on it, and like I said, my short run pace wasn't that great, so just had to settle for third.
Yeah, but still settling for third. A good finish here in just the second race of the season. That JCTV machine did look sporty out there. How many more races do you think you're going to try to go for here in the Coast to Coast Cup Series?
I'm not sure. I was sad to miss Daytona. I wasn't able to run that, and just showed up here. I think I'm just going to run the fun races, like the fun tracks, but I don't know. We'll see. If I'm bored on a Thursday night, I'll be in here running, so probably not going to run for points, but, I'm just kind of here for fun, and tonight was a good time. Like I said, when we were going green, we kind of struggled through the first half of the race, and then after that, it was all right, and I want to say congratulations to Luke Peters. He was really fast. He started up there. He was running up there, and the proximity guys made it a pretty crazy battle up there a couple times, like Cody Webster and Malachi Drake. They all ran pretty hard, and it was a pretty good time battling, so good job to them too.
Alrighty, that is your third place finisher here in tonight's race, Mr. Dane Cruz. Bringing home that number 11 JCTV Toyota Camry third. Congrats again, Dane.
Thank you.
With that, I believe that'll move Brett on to our second place finisher. That will be Mr. Brian Lorenzo.
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Great job there tonight. Able to come home in a second place finish. Kind of had some issues that appeared early in the race. Kind of dropped back to the field, but great job battling back. What was it like out there tonight as you were able to come home in the second position?
Today was a pretty difficult race. I'm not gonna lie. Homestead is not one of my best tracks. It takes me a long time to get into a groove. So yeah, early in the race, we're chilling. I believe we're in the top 10. Unfortunately, we get a little loose on the top. We lose all of our momentum, and then going into 3, I guess slammed into because other cars are racing, and I'm assuming the car behind me didn't see me. So that knocked me basically outside the top 30, and somehow, some way, We put on a really great drive, made the right calls all night, and we were able to get P2. I'm happy about that.
And almost looked like you might have had a chance on that last restart, although Luke Peters able to get out to a decent lead. Is there anything else maybe you could have done on that last restart to maybe give yourself a chance at the end there?
Probably could have tried more stuff. That's what a lot of Cup drivers do. They tried either ripping the wall, they tried many different lines, but every time I did what Luke was doing, it would work. Not even that I was necessarily catching him, but the lap times, it was hard to even get into the eights at the beginning of in qualifying and in the race. And me and him were running sevens back to back to back. So it was, I had nothing for him at the end. He's really good at this track. So congrats to him.
And then looking forward, second place finish coming off a top 10 at Daytona. Now a second place finish here. Last year, the runner up in the point standings. How do you keep building on these results, trying to go forward as you try to look towards possibly one-upping yourself and taking home the championship this season?
I think it's just going to be staying consistent and also just never giving up. First two races, even though you look at the results and you see a top 10 and even a second place now, it's been difficult races. At Daytona, I'm not kidding. If you look at my full race replay, I went to the back to the front about 10 to 15 times. So we just never gave up. And even in this race, a track that it's extremely hard to pass and I don't even have the most confidence at. We went all the way to the back, didn't give up, played it smart, and got up to the front once again.
And then last but not least, anybody else you'd like to thank? Anybody you'd like to shout out? Any sponsors, whatever?
Thank, I guess, Rowdy. They don't sponsor me, obviously. However, it's nice to have him in the car. I think I have a sick-looking car. Plus, I'm too lazy to make another paint scheme, so I'm still repping that. I got to thank EG and thank Great White North. We were all in a VC together. Had a blast tonight. Couldn't do it without those guys. Those guys are always behind me, no matter what I do. Got to thank SAAC, especially Cody, Ellis, and the rest of the admin team for running the show. Fast Cash Racing Products for sponsoring tonight. Really appreciated. If you need something fast and want to drop some cash, go to their Discord immediately. And last but not least, thank you to you guys for coming out. I know there were some issues at the beginning of the race, but thank you guys for sticking it out with us and streaming this race till the end.
Yeah, it's no problem. And congrats on that second place finish. That is our second place finisher, Brian Lorenzo. Good recovery drive, able to get back up to the second position and set himself up going forward as he looks for the championship this season. And Dawson, I believe you are going to catch up with our winner, Luke Peters.
Indeed, we will. It is a victory in the stage and a victory in the race. It is Luke Peters' night here at Homestead Miami Speedway as he captures the race after winning the stage as well. First off, Luke, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Well, it was a back and forth race. You won the stage in that one lap shootout, but then coming to it, you had to fight from back in about 15th on that restart. What was that like trying to navigate the Hornet's Nest and watching some of those other guys like Rivera's and Huff having issues back in the back of the pack while you were trying to fight through it?
Yeah, I got really unlucky with that caution right near the end of the stage because it was either I pit and lose the stage, win, or I stay out, win the stage, and then lose all my track position. I chose to win the stage, and so yeah, I restarted about 15th and was able to make some good moves early, and I got really lucky that some of the other guys had issues, fell back or got wrecked out, and then slowly able to make my way back up to the front, and then yeah.
And it got down to that last restart there, and you were able to take advantage and capitalize and run away with it. Do you think anybody maybe had something for you there if we didn't get a caution before Thornton would have had to have pit?
Once again, an unlucky caution at the end. I think I had it, but I don't know. I think there were a few guys that were definitely could have been there, but I got lucky once again with Zach getting loose and me able to get by right on the restart, and then was just able to pull away from there.
Well, he was able to pull away, and you were able to sweep the race, get the stage win, and then get the race win here tonight. But the floor is yours. Shoutouts, teammates, sponsors. What gets it done for that 50 machine to park it in victory lane tonight?
Yeah, everyone at Proximity Racing and all my teammates, and yeah.
Man, a few words, but man in victory lane here tonight. That is Luke Peters, your race winner here in the Fast Cash Racing Products 175 here at Homestead. Congrats again, Luke, on the win.
Thank you.
And with that, that leaves it to just me and Brett. Brett, what was your takeaway from tonight's race?
Yeah, my big takeaway is tonight, kind of the first race of the season where we really see who's going to have stuff in the season-long championship picture. And we really saw drivers like Luke Peters, Brian Lorenzo, Zachary Thornton, Daytona winner, backing it up with a fourth-place finish tonight, really make strong cases that they're going to be drivers to watch out for as we move forward this full season as we race for a championship. And I think Luke Peters has really answered a lot of questions. Like, was fast at the short track at South Boston. He's fast today at the mile and a half. I gotta think he really submitted himself as, if not the one of the championship favorites, if not the championship favorite here tonight. Really a dominant performance from that 50 machine. Seemed like he really was the best car all night tonight.
Yep, and he was able to get there at the end and put it in victory lane. So that'll do it from us here at Homestead. Coming up next on JCTV, this Tuesday night, Slide Jawb Racing League gets back into gear as we get close to the end of the regular season. The hunt for the playoffs continues, and we head to North Wilkesboro. Should be a fun one. And then next week, in the Pits News Truck Series next Saturday returns. They will be racing at Bristol for round number 2 of the playoffs. But also next Thursday night here on JCTV, it is the Coast to Coast Racing Series. They head to Sonoma, where it will be a race on the road course. Should be interesting to watch. You don't want to miss that. That is, of course, next Thursday night, same time, same place here on JCTV. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and biting with us here for this kind of hectic and crazy race broadcast. And we thank you for tuning in as always. I want to say a big shout out again to Luke Peters for winning tonight's race. And thank you for always tuning in here to these JCTV productions. For Brett Bennett, this is Dawson Allen signing off, saying so long and have a great rest of your night. Congrats again to Luke Peters.